Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with Mayana. I am so happy that you decided to tune in, to log on tonight. Speak to me as you come in. Let me know how you're doing. Are you well? How are you feeling? Are you well emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually? Are you well? Let me know in the chat. I want to thank you all for joining in on tonight. As you all know, that Wellness Wednesday was created to uplift, encourage, and inspire. And so that is our goal each and every time that we come on, is that we uplift, encourage, and inspire someone, that you don't leave head hung down, but that you leave with your head lifted, a renewed set mindset. That is our goal. That is our goal. So tonight we are going to talk about something that I've read in the book of John, chapter 11, from the ESV version, and it was talking about, this was dealing with Lazarus being sick, and his sisters sent word to Jesus saying that, hey, the man that you love is sick. And here's the thing, that Jesus didn't come right away. He delayed his coming. The Bible says he stayed where he was 2 more days. But eventually he shows up, and what happens is, once he get there, Lazarus dead. He was already buried. They had the funeral. They've had the repast. He's been dead for 4 days. 4 days. 4 days. For 4 days. And Jesus finally showed up after the fact. After the fact. And you know, we always say that he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. But one thing's for certain, is that he doesn't move according to our time, and neither according to our will. He moves according to his will and his plan. He moves that he's going to get glory out of it, and in the end, we benefit from it. It works for our good. So I was looking at this, and when Jesus finally makes it, he asks a question. He's like, "Where have you laid him?" And they show him where, and he gives a command. He said, "Take away the stone." Now listen. Let me tell you where Lazarus is. Lazarus in this cave, in the grave, but his grave was a I'm sorry, I don't know what we got going on here. His grave was in a cave, and so then when they bury him, they put this stone in front of, because during that time they didn't have embalming fluid and all that other stuff that they use today. And so they put him in this cave and put the stone in front of him. So Jesus asked the question, where have you laid him? And so his sister Martha says, look, Jesus, by now he's dead. Have you ever been in a situation where it seems like it is over? Or have you ever prayed to God and it seemed like he has done nothing, or he hasn't heard you, and like the more that you pray, the like your situation gets worse? It looks like it gets worse, or it looks like it had comes to an end, like there's nothing else I can do. But here's the thing, there is nothing too hard for God. So whether he shows up in the beginning of it, in the middle, or at the end of it, as long as he shows up, it's all good. Nothing too hard for him. Absolutely nothing too hard for him. And so when he asked the question again, I'm going to say it again. He said, where have you laid him? And so they tell him. And so here his sister said, listen, by now, he stink. He been in there 4 days. And there are people, you all, who are, or I'm not going to just say people, we look at our situations like, hey, there's nothing else to be done, because we can't figure it out, because we can't carry it, or because we can't execute it. We treat God like his strength, that like he has the same strength as we have. as we have. But that is not the case. God is bigger than any situation that we face. So whatever the situation is, whether it's cancer, whether it's debt, whether it's sickness, whatever the situation is, it is but a light thing for him, that is not too hard and it's not too heavy for him. It's just right for him. Though it may be hard for us, though it may be difficult for us, it is not too hard for God. Just like when God told Sarah back in Genesis, he said, is there anything too hard for God? He asked her a question. Is there anything too hard for God? And the answer is no. There's nothing too hard for him. What is impossible with man is very well possible with God. So don't count yourself out, or don't look at your situation and say, there's nothing else to be done. Oh, as long as God is still God, there's plenty to be done. So he kind of rebukes her and said, didn't I tell you, if you believe, you will see your brother again? So here's one thing you need to continue to believe in God, regardless of your situation. Don't allow your situation to dictate to you how God is going to move. Don't allow your situation to dictate to you how God is going to move. He's going to move however he sees fit. When you look throughout the Bible, when he healed different people, he healed them all differently. They didn't get the same. They weren't healed the same. The woman with the issue of blood, when she was healed, she touched the hem of his garment and she was made whole. The 10 lepers, that when they saw Jesus coming, they cried out and said, Master, save us. And he told them to go. And the Bible said, as they went, they were made whole. They were healed as they went. Then there was the blind man. There was blind Bartimaeus, blind. And he cried out and asked God to heal him. And Jesus healed him. Then there was another blind man where his friends brought him to him, and he led him outside the city, and he spit in his eye. And then he touched him again, and then his sight was restored. So it's not all of them were healed, but they were healed in a different manner, in a different way. So just because he did it for your neighbor or for someone else a certain way, doesn't mean that he's going to do it a certain way, that same way for you. And just because he did a certain way for you the last time does not mean that he's going to do it the same way this time. So don't lose hope. Hold on to your faith. Even in those difficult moments, hold on to your faith. So he tells them, once he gets to where Lazarus is, take away the stone. So for us, the stone can represent something that we've placed over our hearts. We won't allow anything in, and we won't allow anything out. Love can't come in and love can't come out. We hide behind it because we feel like it's safe. So we've built this wall and said, I'm not going to allow another to do me like the last one. I'm never going to do this again. I did it last time, but I won't do it no more. We're building a wall. We're just building a wall over our hearts. Yes, you should guard your heart, because the Bible tells us to guard our hearts. But there are some things that you're going to have to try again. You're going to have to try love again. Try believing again. There's just some things you're going to have faith again. Pray again. Because we feel like when we pray the first time and nothing happens and we give up right there in the beginning of the very beginning of it. But there are some things we're going to have to press in with and continue to believe God for. So don't give up. Continue to believe. So Jesus said, take away the stone. Now notice that Jesus didn't move the stone. He did not command the stone to be moved. He told the people to take away the stone. Why? Because they were the ones that put it there. So there are some things that we have placed, a block, a wall, that we're going to have to knock this thing down. So, Lord, I'm waiting on you. He said, no, I'm waiting on you. I need you to take that. Your heart has become hardened, and I need you to take that stuff away. I need you to be honest with yourself. And I need you to be honest with me. And because nothing is hidden from God, He sees all and He knows all. So whatever that is, that if it's a trust issue, we need to move that thing out the way. If it's we've been hurt, we've been disappointed, and there's something about disappointed. When you've been disappointed time after time and over again, you begin to put up this wall saying, I will never do this again. I'm not helping anybody else. I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm not loving anybody else. I'm not doing any of those things again. And there is that stone. There is that stone that we've placed over our hearts. Nothing can get in and nothing can come out. So we feel safe. But what we're not doing, what is not, we really are not safe. We are not safe. So he says, take away the stone. I don't know what your stone is. I don't know what your issue is. But whatever it is, God needs you to remove that stone so He can do something for you. So He can do something with you. So he says, take away the stone. So to take the stone away. And then Jesus begins to pray. Then after he finished praying, the Bible said with a loud voice, this is what the ESV version says, with a loud voice, he cried and said, Lazarus, come out. Lazarus, come out. Now, what was Lazarus in? Lazarus was in a dead situation. That's what he was in. He was in a dark place. He was in a place. He was in a grave. How many of us are sitting in a dark place, in a lonely place, because we put this stone up? We built this wall. We built this wall. So Lazarus had to come out of where he was. And sometimes, coming out of a situation that we have been in for a while can be difficult. It is not always easy. I remember listening to the Mississippi Mass Choir, and I can't think of the gentleman's name, but he was talking about how this little boy had some birds and they were in a cage. And it was kind of, I guess he was tormenting the bird. And this man came along and wanted to buy the birds so he can set them free. And so he eventually buys the birds from the man, from the little boy, and he's in a cage so the birds could come out. Do you know that the birds did not come out? Why? The door was open. Access was granted for them to come out. But because they had been stuck in that cage for so long, they didn't realize that they were free. They were being made free. So coming out is not always easy because you've been in it for so long. And sometimes you become comfortable in an uncomfortable. We become comfortable or used to being in a dysfunctional situation, in an unhealthy situation. And coming out is not always easy because we're used to the stinking situation. We're used to the dead situation. And we don't know what freedom looks like. We don't know what freedom feels like because we're stuck behind. Well, no, because the stone has been moved. We're still in the grave. Now notice when Jesus called Lazarus, he said, Lazarus, come out. Lazarus had one job and one job only. When you read John chapter 11, you won't see where Lazarus said a mumbling word. Lazarus had one job, and his job was to come out. His job was to come out. Now, here's the thing. The Bible says the man that was dead came out. But when he came out, he was wrapped up in the dead clothes. He was wrapped up in these things. And so he's wrapped up. He's out, but tied up and tangled up. It's like you coming out, but you still got that same mentality. You come, but you still thinking like you in Egypt. You coming out, you still thinking like you in bondage. You coming out, but you still thinking like you in poverty. You coming out, but you still thinking like you used to think. But you came out. Out. So he comes out. He's wrapped up, tied up, tangled up. Have you ever felt like you wrapped up, tied up, and tangled up in something? And it's a restriction. And that's what an old mindset is. It's a restriction. It won't allow us to move forward, even though you're out. I remember seeing a picture of, I think it was an elephant with he was tied to a little bitty chair. Now, you know, an elephant is huge, way bigger than that chair. That chair was not holding him. Do you know what was holding him? Not the rope that was tied around his neck. What was holding him is the fact that the way the elephant was thinking. The elephant didn't realize that he was much bigger than what was holding him. Come on here. Do you hear me? Lean in with me tonight. The elephant was much bigger than what was holding him. But what kept him there is the fact that he had been tied up for so long, he didn't realize that the very thing that was holding him, he could drag it. He could destroy it. The very thing that you feel like is holding you, you have the capability of destroying it. Because the Bible said, greater is he that's in you than he that is in the world. And he also said that, behold, I give you power to tread over scorpions and serpents, and nothing by any means shall harm you. So we have the power, we have the authority, but what keeps us, what holds us back is the way we think. What holds us back is our perception of things. But the Lord is calling you out. He's calling you by your name. He's calling your name, and he says, come out. The Bible says he says it with a loud voice. He didn't whisper it. He didn't mumble it, but with a loud voice, he calls Lazarus' name. Lazarus, come out. In the King James Version, it says, Lazarus, come forth. So why was he loud? Because sometimes he has to get over all this other noise that's in your ear to get your attention. To say, hey, I'm calling you. Anytime you want somebody's attention, you call their name. Anytime you're trying to wake somebody up, because sometimes we can be dead, we can be asleep spiritually or dying spiritually. And the Lord is calling your name to wake you up. And he said, hey, Stacy, Linda, Keisha, whoever, I'm calling your name. I'm trying to get your attention. I need you to come out. So now Lazarus is out. As I told you, he's wrapped up in these and dead man clothes. Here, the man is alive. The Bible said the man that was dead came out. He had been in there for 4 days. No matter how long you've been in a situation, it's not hard for God. He still can bring you out of it. The children of Israel had been in Egypt for 400 years. And the Lord brought them out. Come on. Same God that did it for them is the same God that can do it for you. As Ty Tribbett said, the same God who did it before, he can do it again. If he did it before, that's what he said, he'll do it again. Same God back then, same God right now. He doesn't change. The Bible says he's the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. He don't change. We change. Seasons change. Time change. The months change. God remains the same. So he's out. Then Jesus speaks again and said, loose him and let him go. So just imagine that what you need from God, your deliverance, your freedom, is waiting on the outside. We done got so comfortable up in this place, in this dark place. You know, we've got so used to being there, and we don't realize that freedom is on the outside of that thing. That all we got to do is move the stone. And even with, now notice that Lazarus did not move the stone. And this is where it's important to know who is in your circle, strong enough to come and help you to move the stone when you don't have strength enough. Who is in your circle who can pray for you? Who is in your circle that can come and push the stone away? When you feel like you can't pray, somebody that'll come and lift you up and say, girl, get up. Boy, and get up. Somebody that remind you as to who you are. Who is in your circle that can do that? Now, if you're the only one in that circle doing that, you need a new circle. You need somebody to help you. Because Lazarus, remember, Lazarus hadn't said a mumbling word. His sister sent the word when he was sick, so you need somebody to intercede for you. You need somebody to intercede for you. Do you hear me? Lean in. Give me your listening ear. You need somebody who is able to intercede for you. So his sister sent word. Then when Jesus got there, he told them to take away the stone. Now you need somebody that's strong enough to handle, to move the stone. Not only that, and not afraid of the stench of your situation. Because everybody can't handle it. Everybody won't be able to handle it. So you need some people who are capable of moving away the stone. And then when you come out, after you have been in for so long, and you still wrapped up and tied up, you need somebody who are able to take away those dead things that's holding you down. Who in your circle can do that? Anybody? Because see, what it is, we coming out of this thing. Whatever it is, we coming out of it. We coming out of it. Now understand, the stone is the heavy part. Coming out is the challenging part. Being free is the challenging part. Because we got to change our mindset. Now, I don't know about you. I have made up my mind. I have decided that I'm coming out of this thing. I don't know what your thing is. You know what your thing is. You have to decide that you are coming out. That tonight, I'm coming out. I'm coming out of depression, whatever your thing is. I'm coming out of low self-esteem. I'm coming out of fear. I'm coming out of broken mindset. I'm coming out of a poverty mindset. I'm coming out of lack. I'm coming out of worrying. I'm coming out of overthinking. I'm coming out of caring what other people think about me. I'm coming out. Do you know why I'm coming out? Because he called my name. Jesus is calling you. Jesus is calling you. So I need you to do me a favor. I need you to drop it in the chat tonight. I need you to put your name, whatever your name is. If I was writing in the chat, I'm gonna put Mayana coming out. I'm coming out. Mayana, come out. And I need you to take a moment and write down whatever it is that you're in, that you need to come out. I'm coming out of this bad relationship. I'm coming out this bad friendship, this one-sided friendship. I'm coming out of it. I'm coming out of this toxicity. I'm coming out of it. I'm coming out. The Bible says, whom you are free. The Bible says, whom the Son set free is free indeed. It's free indeed. Now, let me explain something. I need y'all to look a little further in this chapter. The Bible says when Lazarus came out, the people that were there believed. What you're going through, what you've been through, is going to cause other people to believe in God. So the Bible said that they believe. Now, I need you to see something else that happened in this chapter. Some believe, and those who witnessed him coming out went back and told the Pharisees about what Jesus had done and the fact that Lazarus came out. Hear me and hear me well. It is moments like this that you're going to find out who's for you and who's against you. Not everybody is going to be happy that you came out. Do you know why? Because they can no longer use you. When you're free, you can't be played like that. So I think it went on into the next chapter that the Pharisees sought to kill Jesus. Not only did they want to kill Jesus, but they wanted to kill Lazarus. Why? Lazarus hadn't said a word. But you know why? Because his life is a constant reminder that Jesus is who he says he is. A constant reminder. Lazarus was a living testimony as to who Jesus is and still is. So there are going to be some people who don't like it that you ain't in, that you out. They're not like it because you're free and they no longer can manipulate you. They no longer can use your situation against you. I'm out. I'm free. It's a wrap. Lazarus went to sit at the table and start eating. So you're going to have some people that believe. You're going to have some people that applaud you. And it really, really happy for you. Then you're going to have some people that sit back and be like, they're not going to like it. And guess what? Come here. Listen to me. They don't have to like it. Because them not liking it didn't stop you from coming out. Them not liking it didn't stop Jesus from moving on your behalf. Them not liking it does nothing, doesn't do a thing. Them not liking it. You don't have to like it. It is what it is, but you can't deny it. So go on and put it in the chat. Put your name and say, come out. Mayana, come out. All right, you guys, that's all I have. Thank you for tuning in tonight to Wellness Wednesdays with Mayana. If you would do me a favor, share this with somebody. If this has blessed you, send it to somebody else and let it bless them. If you would you please go and subscribe to our YouTube page? It is Wellness Wednesdays with Mayana. Thank you for those who have already subscribed to it. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. And until next Wednesday, y'all be safe. Y'all be well. And I'll see you again. Bye.